Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another session of this course on Islamic inheritance law, in which we shall be looking at the inheritance share of the surviving wife, or to be more precise, the widow. Let's start off with text from the Sirajiyya. أما للزوجات فحالتان الربع للواحدة فصاعدة عند عدم الولد وولد الابن وإن سفل والثمن مع الولد أو ولد الابن وإن سفل. The wife is Quranic heir whose share entitlement is mentioned in the Quran in Ayah 12 of Surah Nisa. The Quran says, "For them," meaning the wives, "is 1/4 of what you leave behind if there is no walad. If you leave behind a walad, then for them, widows, is 1/8. As we have mentioned in an earlier session, the word walad in this context means a child or an agnatic grandchild, however low, so ever as shown in the family tree diagram. Agnatic grandchild refers to a son or daughter through a son, that is, through a male line of descent. There are two possible scenarios for the inheritance of the wife. 1. The wife inherits a share of 1/4 in the absence of a child or agnatic grandchild, however low soever. Or 2. She inherits a share of 1/8 in the presence of a child or agnatic grandchild, however low soever. Let us look at a few examples to illustrate this. In these two examples, the surviving wife or wives inherit in the absence of a child or agnatic grandchild. In the first example, the heirs are two wives and the father. So in this case, the two wives will inherit 1/4 of the inheritance as Quranic heirs, divided equally amongst them, while the father will inherit the remaining residue of 3/4 as a residuary heir. In the second example, the heirs are a wife, maternal grandmother, 4 uterine sisters, and a full brother. In such a case, the wife will inherit 1/4 of the inheritance as Quranic heir, the maternal grandmother 1/6 as Quranic heir. The 4 uterine siblings together inherit 1/3 of the inheritance as Quranic heirs, and the remaining 1/4 share goes to the full brother as the residuary heir. In these examples, the wife inherits in the presence of a child or agnatic grandchild. In the first example, the wife inherits with a son. The wife inherits her Quranic share of 1/8 in the presence of a son, while the son inherits the residue share of 7/8 as the only residuary heir. If the son is replaced by an agnatic grandson, as in the second example, the wife again inherits her Quranic share of 1/8 in the presence of an agnatic grandson. The grandson, as the residuary heir, inherits the remaining 7/8 of the inheritance. In the third example, the heirs are the wife, a daughter, and a full brother. The wife inherits her Quranic share of 1/8 in the presence of a daughter. The daughter will inherit her Quranic share of 1/2, and the residue will be inherited by the full brother as a residuary, in this case, 3/8 share. In the fourth example, the daughter is replaced by a granddaughter through a son. The wife again inherits her Quranic share of 1/8 in the presence of an agnatic granddaughter. The granddaughter will inherit her Quranic share of 1/2, and the residue of 3/8 will be inherited by the full brother as a residuary. This brings us to the end of this session. Insha'Allah, see you in the next one.